we gather right now, 30 RCMP vehicles have descended on Pachita territory, and they're in the process of arresting people who are defending Adiatsk, the headwaters of the Fairy Creek Watershed, where this all began 10 months ago when we set up road blockades preventing logging road incursions into the unlogged Fairy Creek Watershed. And it is upsetting to see 10 months later, with a massive groundswell of public outrage to the status quo that is laying waste to the equivalent of 34 soccer fields of old-growth forest on Vancouver Island, that the provincial government has done nothing to match the courage and the principled leadership of Indigenous peoples asserting their right to defend their sovereign territories from the onslaught of continued old-growth logging.
So we're currently at HQ, which is on the road that leads to River Camp. At the end of this dead end, they want to construct a road that will go to the Fairy Creek untouched watershed, which is the last untouched watershed on Vancouver Island.
Locked to the Captain Cook statue in solidarity with the people who have been arrested out on the front lines in the forest. In British Columbia, there's less than 3% of ancient forest left. Seems to me a no-brainer that you don't cut those things down, even if it wasn't a climate crisis. So this guy here, Captain James Cook, who in a way we could say started it all, some of those trees that the forest protectors are protecting were ancient when he arrived. Premier John Horgan promised to protect those old-growth forests, but instead of protecting those forests, old-growth logging increased by 43% in the last year under John Horgan. We're living in a pretty sick time, folks, and this is taxpayer dollars at work, hurting and arresting people doing the job the Premier himself promised to do.
Yeah. Standing up for the bears.
I was present at some of the arrests of Indigenous people and non-Indigenous people at the police checkpoint on the way into Kaikous on Saturday. We had a peaceful circle led by Katie Jones and Elder Rose Henry. There were 4 police officers watching us until reinforcements arrived. We got word that there were 18 trucks and cruisers and somewhere around 15 paddy wagons on their way in. I was speaking to the police officer wearing the moose hide pin and told him, "I know in your heart you know this is wrong." I could see him start to tear up, but he forced himself to look away. They all forced themselves to look away and not make eye contact and feel what's right in their hearts, especially with the Indigenous police officers. It's painful to see, but they made that choice to be complacent while they violently arrested Indigenous people while wearing the moose hide pins.
What we have seen are the RCMP threatening to use rubber bullets and tear gas on peaceful frontline forest protectors sitting 100 feet up in ancient hemlocks.
Well, here they come. The choppers are circling overhead.
What we have seen this week are loggers who have been let into the exclusion zone where there are no legal observers, where there are no media, and where they have been falling trees 100-foot trees 1 to 2 tree lengths away from people who are occupying the forest canopy to protect those ancient forests. But if this is not a moment for public outrage, what is?
We are getting ready to receive the police, the RCMP, in the next days. We have optimism, we are confident that we can do it, but we need to do that together.
Stop the destruction of the ancient temperate rainforests on unceded Dididot and Pachi Dot territories and all across so-called British Columbia.